Investigators say a rusty beam caused the partial wall collapse at the City Center Hotel downtown Mankato.
Yesterday, a section of the hotel's wall collapsed right over the building's parking garage. The hotel's developer brought in ISG, an engineering consultant company, to examine the situation. They determined that the rusty beam was the culprit. According to ISG, while the hotel is old, there were no structural problems with it prior to the collapse.
The area that went down was really just the the access ramp that got you into the below grade parking, and then the portion of the hotel that we're standing by here is the conference room areas or the conference center areas. So I think the portion of floor that went down was a back mechanical room.
No one was hurt. The hotel has been closed for the last few years ahead of a multi-year project that will result in the construction of a new AC Marriott hotel downtown. ISG stresses that there was no demolition happening at the time that would have contributed to the collapse.
We do want to make it clear that there was no active demolition taking place at the time of the collapse. And really what we look at is the now current status is that we're doing some selective demo to make sure that there is no imminent threat to the public here moving forward.
ISG encourages residents to direct any questions to the City of Mankato.